In my previous life, I spent half a century with John. On his deathbed, he told me, "Emily, I wish Lily had been the one to rescue me from the snow all those years ago instead of you. In our next life, I want to hold Lily's hand and grow old together." I snapped. "Then hurry up and die." His eyes remained wide open, he literally died of rage. Our children blamed me for arguing with John in his final moments, claiming I'd let him depart this world full of regrets. At the funeral, I shut down every single one of their hypocritical eulogies. Eldest son, remember when you needed money for your wedding house? Know why the family funds suddenly dried up? Because your father spent it all relocating his precious first love's grave. Second son, you wanted your father's job position. Know why you never got it? He gave it to some distant nephew of Lily's. A stranger's relative mattered more than his own flesh and blood. Little daughter, ever wonder why your father forced you to marry that family friend's son? He was Lily's eldest nephew. I scattered John's diaries across the funeral hall like funeral paper. Pages fluttered among the white mourning banners as my children gaped in shock. Don't believe me? Read it yourselves. Every one of our children had been sacrificial offerings to John's undying obsession with his dead first love. What began as my act of saving his life became decades of him exploiting my labor while whispering sweet lies. My heart finally gave out amidst the chaos. But when I opened my eyes again, I found myself back in that frozen northern valley at 19 years old, Clearwater Village. Circa 1969. "Emily, I really like that hair ribbon you bought. Give it to me." 18-year-old Lily lounged comfortably on the hay cart I was driving through knee-deep snow, her cheeks rosy with entitlement. I gripped the reins tighter, spotting the familiar human-shaped snowdrift ahead. "If I own something you want, I should just hand it over? Isn't that how it's always been?" Lily giggled, twirling a lock of her honey blonde hair. "A big plain country girl like you could never look as good as me anyway. Why not let me have it? Your spineless father's always groveling to mine, shouldn't you follow his example?" The cart wheels hit a hidden rock. Lily shrieked as she tumbled straight into the snowbank where John lay half-frozen. "Ah! There's a corpse here. Help! Hold on. Lily! I'll go get help." I bellowed with false urgency, whipping the donkey into a gallop. The biting wind clawed at my lungs, or maybe that was decades-old resentment finally breathing free. By the time villagers dug them out, Lily's perfect complexion had turned blotchy red. "Emily, how dare you abandon me with a dead body?" she screamed, stomping her snow-caked boots. The village chief's wife walked right past Lily's tantrum. Everyone did. After all, Lily was George's daughter, Clearwater's golden girl who expected the world to bow before her. Defy her whims, and you'd be the unreasonable one. But not this time. This winter, I'd let the village princess keep her precious frozen prince. Maybe their eternal love could survive hypothermia and mutual narcissism. The barefoot Dr. Ethan emerged from the house and gestured to Mayor George, signaling the patient had survived. Lily clicked her tongue. He actually survived frostbite without permanent damage? Mayor George glared at his daughter. That farmhand from the city deserves basic respect. As the cherished late-born child of the Thompson family, Lily had been spoiled rotten. Even her lack of empathy didn't warrant parental scolding. I noticed John and Lily's fate threads had already intertwined. Without bothering with farewells, I trudged home through the snow. This date in my previous life had been when Lily and I went to town for festivities. During our return trip in the mule-drawn cart, Lily spotted a human-shaped snowdrift and cursed our bad luck encountering frozen corpses. Against her protests, I dug through the ice to save John's life. During John's convalescence at my home, his surface-level gratitude masked growing infatuation with Lily's frequent visits. Mistaking his polite manners for intellectual refinement, I'd foolishly believed his subsequent village returns were meant for me. Only through reading his journals did I discover he'd been hoping to bump into Lily. When the National College entrance exams resumed that October after a decade-long hiatus, I became John's relentless supporter, collecting textbooks, mending winter clothes, networking for exam updates. My efforts secured his spot in the examination hall. He accepted every sacrifice while journaling vows to propose to Lily after college admission. True to his ambitions, John became 1 in 10,000 to gain university placement. But the Thompsons had already married Lily into county aristocracy, with the entire farm community witnessing my devotion. Societal pressure forced John into marrying me. Our marriage unfolded like predetermined tragedy, me waiting in the village during his university years, abandoning my family to follow his urban career, smoothing over his workplace conflicts. When he gambled our savings on quitting his stable job for Southern ventures, I funded his dreams while maintaining our home. Decades passed before I discovered John's perpetual mourning of Lily through journal entries like, "If only Lily hadn't died young. How joyous life with her would have been." I'd been his consolation prize, chosen for duty, not desire. "Emily, you'll freeze out here." My teenage brother Michael shivered in the doorway. Heavy quilt curtain held open. The sight of this long, dead loved one resurrected as memory's vibrant youth froze teardrops into crystalline ice flowers on my lashes. The air was biting cold yet carried a strange warmth. Reuniting with my long, unseen parents, I rushed to embrace them each in turn. Mom swatted me aside while Dad grumbled, "Quit this nonsense. Girl. You're giving me the creeps." Entering the house, I grabbed a hand mirror to examine my face, the weathered pale complexion, wind-reddened nose, and strong features that somehow looked younger. I really had turned back the clock. Michael asked, "What are you preening for, sis?" I mumbled stupidly. "Between me and Lily. She's the pretty one, right?" Michael facepalmed hard. "Obviously Lily. Everyone in the county says so. Though spoiled rotten. Lily's beauty was legendary across 8 townships. What did it matter that I'd saved John's life? Cold logic could never compete with first love's intoxicating pull. This lifetime, I'd let John chase his precious Lily. Whether he succeeded? That'd be his own battle to fight. This time, John received medical care at the Thompson residence. Upon waking, whether from delirium or passion, he seized Lily's hand and pressed it to his cheek, murmuring incoherent sweet nothings until Lily's slap rocked his head sideways. "You disgusting creep. I save your life and you try this?" she raged. Yet through John's besotted gaze, her furious sputtering resembled an adorable kitten hissing. "Lily, finally," John actually wept tears of joy. When Mrs. Johnson entered, she assumed her daughter's violence had reduced him to tears. Later, we learned John worked as the farm accountant, traveling between villages for census work. Lily's attitude softened considerably upon hearing accountant translating to money manager in her mercenary mind. "Fine," she huffed. "Since you nearly froze to death, I'll let this slide." "Of course, Lily." John beamed. Mrs. Johnson's expression curdled, demanding George expel John immediately. 20-something boys don't get handsy with my girl, coma or not. Yet when John reappeared groomed and articulate, even the stern mayor's eyes gleamed with recalculating interest. The Thompsons, better informed about college entrance policies than us common folk, recognized John's connections with farm administrators and commune leaders. Soon, whispers spread about the mayor considering John as a son-in-law, unsurprising given John's education and looks outshone every local suitor orbiting Lily. Compared to those country bumpkins, John might as well have descended from Olympus. In my past life, John's tales of political connections had dazzled Dad into submission. Now, watching him work similar magic on George, I understood the limited time offer urgency gripping the household. Lily visited me several times afterward, endlessly dissecting John's every word and gesture between us. When I didn't respond, Lily deliberately said, "Emily, we grew up together. If I get married before you, will you be upset?" I humored her, "Your family's well off. And you're pretty. Of course you'll marry easily. I want to stay home a few more years to take care of my parents." But Lily couldn't resist another jab. "True. I'm marrying the most famous accountant intellectual in the whole countryside. Well, you're kinda homely. Maybe in a few years when all the village boys have picked their brides, someone might settle for you. She dissolved into giggles again, only leaving satisfied after seeing me speechless. Lily and I grew up together. She'd always been flashy and boastful, needing to parade every new possession until everyone envied her. Disagreeing meant endless grudges and schemes. Once she left the courtyard, I pulled out a history textbook from under the heated bed. Michael peeked in. Is Lily gone? Sis, you should marry an educated man too. I scoffed. What's the use of marrying one? Better to become educated myself. Right. What's Lily so proud of? She's just marrying some intellectual. You'll understand why she's showing off after New Year's, I said. Michael didn't get it. Eyeing my textbooks but barely recognizing the cover characters, looking as bewildered as someone staring at a complicated bill. In this era, literacy was scarce. That's why the first restored college entrance exams were far simpler than later ones. In my past life, constrained by circumstances, I'd feared the exams and instead supported John's ambitions. My entire existence orbited around him like a satellite. And how did that end? John never took it seriously. He even claimed he'd saved me. My wife's just some poor farmer's daughter, fussy about trifles, clueless about real matters. Without my college degree and southern business ventures, you'd still be hoeing dirt. Well, I'll breathe that fire myself. I'll prove life can blaze gloriously without John. When registering for exams, I went to the state-owned photo studio for my ID picture. Of course, in our tiny town, I ran into Lily and John again. Emily. Lily stood radiant in the drab street. A peacock among pigeons, what folks would later call the main character. Suddenly I understood why she'd haunted John's memories for decades. What I saw as routine beauty became his eternal what-if. I opened my mouth but froze. 3 paces behind Lily stood John, laden with packages. In my past life, he'd juggled work and exam prep like an overheating engine, steam practically rising from his head. This life, I'm determined to win my happy ending. Honestly, there's no need to rush anything now. Emily, what brings you to the county seat today? Lily pushed through the crowd, stopping right in front of me. Her eyes crinkled into crescents when she spotted the small envelope from the photo studio holding my ID-sized pictures. Why'd you get portraits taken? It's not festival season, planning to use these for matchmaking? Exactly, for matchmaking, I admitted freely, tucking the envelope into my breast pocket. Lily studied me with a knowing smirk. If you're so desperate to marry, why come all the way here? Don't tell me your family's setting you up with some county boy? John came huffing up behind her, still catching his breath. When Lily introduced me, her tone dripped with sarcasm. John, meet my childhood neighbor Emily. The same girl who sent me flying off her wagon last winter. Lucky the snowdrifts were thick. Or I'd have. I cut her off. Lily, if you hadn't taken that spill, would this guy be trailing after you like a lovesick puppy now? She flushed but recovered quickly. Every cloud has its silver lining. Meet John, the educated youth I rescued. We're getting married this December. My chest tightened as I examined the clean-cut intellectual before me. Congratulations to you both. I meant to make small talk and leave, but fate had other plans. Several of John's fellow educated youths spotted us and wandered over. One young man grinned at me. Emily, you're the only girl from Clearwater Village signed up for college entrance exams. Need any study materials? Come brainstorm with us at the farm sometime. The words hung in the air. John's gaze snapped to me, shock and suspicion warring in his eyes. Lily looked like she'd been slapped. You registered for the exams? She shrilled. The oblivious educated youth nodded. We signed up together this morning at the registration office. After triple-checking the truth, Lily launched her attack. Emily, what makes you think some country bumpkin like you could pass? This is the most ridiculous. Multiple educated youths frowned in disapproval. That's uncalled for. The state says all eligible citizens can apply. What's there to mock? Since when does being a farmer disqualify someone? Lily's face cycled through shades of crimson and chalk before she whirled on John. You just stood there while they ganged up on me? But John remained frozen, staring at me like he'd seen a ghost. From his reaction, I knew he'd been reborn too. Just like me. Lily hurled her parcel at John's chest and stormed off. He finally stirred, shooting me a conflicted glance before scrambling after her. Apology gifts bouncing in his arms. The educated youths shook their heads. Some communes block applicants over family backgrounds. But mocking farmers? First time hearing that. John's girl's got claws. If she moves into the educated youth dorms after marriage, rough times ahead. Unease prickled my spine. My exam registration had tipped John off. He now knew I carried memories from our previous life. Just as I recognized his rebirth. The game had changed. That ungrateful bastard John. Who knows what he'll do next? And Lily, since she didn't get to humiliate me today. She'll probably stir up trouble back in the village. Should have checked the calendar before leaving home. On the way back to the village, I sat on the mule cart listening to the wheels creak along the snow-covered mountain path. 20 miles from the county seat took 3 to 5 hours on foot. Clearwater Village remained desperately poor and isolated. If this place held real promise, would generations of my family have remained dirt-poor farmers trapped in these valleys? This lifetime. If John gets into college and takes Lily with him acing exams, her playing blushing bride, where does that leave me? Marry another promising man and wait for him to rescue me? Gambling another lifetime on some guy's conscience? I'd rather grind my teeth and escape through my own efforts. My parents discovered I'd registered for college entrance exams. Simple farmers who barely understood the changing times. They hated me taking risks. Emily. Mom fretted. You only had one proper year of high school. How can you possibly compete with all those educated city kids? Clutching my textbooks, I muttered. Comparison kills. I don't care about others, I need a different life. Without study guides or proper materials, I devoured every textbook I could find. Nights blurred into days as I scratched notes on my bedroll, chanting formulas until my throat burned. My parents watched this obsessive studying, blaming Lily's engagement for my madness. Should we start looking for suitors? Dad suggested. I'll ask my brother's family tomorrow. I stopped leaving home to avoid Lily and John. But Lily wouldn't let our feud rest. She swanned into our house wearing a new crimson coat from the general store, the finest available. Bought with half a year's ration coupons. See this? She preened. John got it for me. Everyone says I look stunning. I ignored her, waiting for the tantrum to pass. Spotting my textbooks, Lily's spoiled streak surfaced. She snatched my most critical review book and ripped out pages in 2 vicious tugs. Think you'll outshine me? She sneered, shredding months of notes. Dream of marrying some educated catch? Well, I won't allow it. Paper snowflakes cascaded as she flung the remnants. Crack. My palm connected with her porcelain cheek. The door curtain was flung open. John burst in covered in snow, grabbing my right wrist and slamming me against the wall. My wrist cracked against the wooden surface, white-hot pain shot through my arm as the winter storm howled into our shack. Lily. You okay? Don't worry. I've got you. Young John murmured comfort to Lily in his arms. Then froze when he saw me clutching my injured wrist and glaring. What a pair of shameless bastards. I'd already stepped aside for their romance. Why did they have to barge into my home? Tear up my textbooks? And ruin my writing hand? Michael rushed in. Seeing my injury, the teenager grabbed a broom and started driving the couple out. Get out. How dare you hurt my sister? But a boy stood no chance against 2 adults. John easily seized the broom handle while the bristles scratched Lily's precious face, her most valued asset. She yanked Michael's hair and slapped him hard. Your sister attacks me. Now you too? 2 more resounding smacks followed before John could intervene. Blood trickled from Michael's split lip as the boy glared at them with tearful hatred. Lily recoiled from her own violence. I never imagined Lily could be this cruel to Michael. Grabbing a wooden stick with my uninjured left hand, I swung at John. He staggered back, shielding his screaming sweetheart. Retreating through our wicker fence gate where neighbors gathered whispering. I shouted for all to hear, Lily destroyed my college prep materials. Threatened to stop my exams. Then she and her boyfriend assaulted us both. The crowd's murmurs swelled as Lily snapped from her daze. Lies. She spat, elbowing John. We came to share wedding news when these siblings cursed us first. Back me up. John stood dumbstruck. His idealized first love now behaved like any backcountry shrew, twisting truths. Demanding compliance. Lily shrilled, why keep staring at that country bumpkin? Since when won't you take my side? Done with their drama. I pulled my sobbing brother close. The teenager's pride lay shattered. Tears cutting tracks through the dirt on his cheeks. Emily. I forced back tears. What are you crying for? Let's go. We're taking this to someone who'll listen. We stormed into the Thompson family's house. Plopped down in their yard and started wailing at the top of our lungs. Neighbors swarmed in like hornets. John among them. Mrs. Thompson flapped her apron helplessly before sending her grandson to fetch the mayor. How long has Lily not caused such a big scene? Someone muttered. Last time was when those two boys fought over her and bloodied each other's noses right on her porch. John's jaw tightened. Within minutes, Mayor George and our parents arrived. Mom rushed to Michael. Her fingers trembling near the bloody scratches on his face. Who did this? These nail marks will scar. Her accusing eyes found me. Emily. Is this how you watch your brother? She paused when she saw my ashen face. What's wrong? I had no breath for explanations, only for battle. The crowd's chatter painted the full picture for Mayor George. Where's Lily? He barked at his wife. Your precious daughter's really outdone herself this time. Mrs. Thompson sniffed. That boy's twice her size. How could she? Michael leaped onto the stone mill. Shouting loud enough for the whole county to hear, Lily did this. Would have fought back if she weren't the mayor's golden girl. She trashed my sister's college prep books. Slapped my sister. Then her city slicker boyfriend joined in. His voice cracked dramatically. All eyes turned to John in the crowd. The mayor's face purpled. You. That accountant from the city. Where's Lily? Since when does my daughter go around beating folks with her fancy man? John stammered about misunderstandings while Mrs. Thompson wrung her hands. Ethan. The doctor's 20-year-old apprentice. Chose that moment to pipe up. We passed Lily on County Road 5. Ran off like the devil was chasing her when we waved. I snorted. Check our cabin if you don't believe us. My torn textbooks are still on the floor. Those college entrance exam materials? Priceless. And Michael's face. The mayor's glare could have curdled milk. Dad shifted to shield me. Ethan stepped forward. Let me see your wrist. Only then did I notice the white-hot pain. His fingers probed gently. Dislocated. He announced. John went sheet white. Dad's voice shook with rare fury. We're poor lower-middle-class folks. Mayor. Never caused trouble. Why break my daughter's college dreams? Why smash her writing hand? The mayor's promise came through gritted teeth. I'll drag Lily back myself. Proper apology. Full compensation. Ethan reset my wrist as I bit through my lip. When the world stopped spinning, I grabbed his sleeve. Can I still hold a pencil? Can I still write? I asked. My eldest apprentice, a handsome young man, smiled faintly. You can try. The moment I attempted to grip a pen, pain shot through my hand like icicles shattering beneath winter eaves. My heart crumbled into dust. This lifetime, I wouldn't marry John. The college entrance exam was my golden ticket to change fate. What right did John have to steal this from me? Days passed. Lily remained missing. Michael and other village kids discovered she'd fled to her brother's county home after causing trouble. There she lounged, bossing her sister-in-law around for meals and clothes. Living her best life. Her apology had been empty words. In our previous life, perhaps my early inadequacies and lack of John's attention kept peace between us. This time, tearing off our hypocritical friendship's mask brought no regret. Dusk settled as I brooded beneath the eaves. Emily. A figure emerged from the shadows beyond the wooden fence. John. Haven't you and Lily done enough? What more do you want? He tried entering our yard. I never meant for this. I hissed. Lurking in darkness? I'll scream for help and watch them beat you senseless. Moonlight revealed his pale face. Emily. The injury wasn't intentional. I just needed to know, have you returned too? Our gazes locked. Decades of past life understanding flashing between us. Did you provoke Lily into tearing my textbooks? I demanded. His silence confirmed it. For all his educated airs, John still hid behind women's skirts like a coward. He'd manipulated Lily's competitive streak, using her chaos to expose my secrets. John. I spat. Using women as your pawns? How brave. No wonder Lily's tantrum had crossed into madness. He flushed. Emily. You have returned. I only complimented you in front of Lily. She misunderstood. Bullshit. I grabbed a nearby shovel, shouting into the night. Thieves. Help. Neighborhood dogs erupted in barking. Doors slammed open. Michael materialized. Again? John scrambled backward. Emily. You can't do this. But the villagers' approaching footsteps drowned his protests. If I can't treat him that way, then how should I handle this? In my past life, I exhausted myself maintaining our home, working tirelessly without complaint. Yet on his deathbed, he still drew lines between us, regretting never having the chance to marry another woman. This lifetime, I never wanted to know him again. Yet he still interfered with my college entrance exams. 2 lifetimes of debts can't be erased with some half-assed I didn't mean to excuse. Michael. Beat that bastard senseless. Michael Brown grabbed a shoulder pole and chased John Wilson down, landing several solid blows before John managed to escape. Next time you show your face here, I'll send you straight to hell. The incident of John coming to apologize only to get chased off by Michael quickly spread through the village. I expected Lily Smith to come raging over any moment, and kept vigilant. But 3 days passed without any sign of her. The Thompson family eventually tossed some wild produce at our doorstep like we were beggars, their idea of an apology. My father silently gathered the offerings. But when my mother saw this, she nearly threw everything out. Back when it was just us, I could let things slide. But now Lily's thugs come into our home to attack our children. Michael Johnson. Will you finally say something? My father suppressed his anger. Need I remind you what happened last time? The Thompson boys' doings in the county town? They're the village authority. This half-assed apology is more than we'll ever get. Seeing me still bent over my textbooks, my mother's frustration boiled over. Even if you pass the exams, what then? I'll apply to teachers' colleges, free tuition with living stipends. Will you ever come back if you leave? Her voice trembled. Did coming back matter when you married me off? I countered. Who'll look after Michael and your brothers? Who'll care for us? In my past life, I'd been chained to John's career after marriage. My parents lived comfortably with my brothers' families in their old age. This wasn't about needing me, it was about control. I want to take you, Dad, and the boys out of this godforsaken valley. Away from this village where we have to bow our heads. My mother turned away, choking back tears. In these times, relocating an entire family required paperwork nightmares. The idea seemed pure fantasy. Mom, someone's got to break free first. Lily remained holed up in the county town. John made multiple trips to the Thompson residence, only to be turned away empty-handed on his final attempt. We'll discuss everything after exams. Old man Thompson clearly saw through John's polished exterior. The way he'd stirred up conflict between Lily and me shortly after their meeting spoke volumes. When exam registrations opened, educated youths from the farmstead and local village boys alike scrambled to sign up. Even a rough-edged country girl like me threw her hat in the ring. John supposedly registered too, but spent more time chasing Lily than cracking books. Same old lecherous behavior as every other village boy panting after the local beauty. After gathering information, Michael returned and reported the enemy situation to me. John went back to the educated youth dorm to study. That place is freezing like an icebox. He's wearing his scarf, hat, quilted jacket, and even wrapped himself in a blanket. Can you believe this idiot forgot to stock coal? The crushed coal dust wouldn't burn properly, nearly froze to death. When other educated youth tried helping, he mistook diesel for kerosene in the lamp. The whole room filled with black smoke. It was hilarious. Since marrying John, I'd handled all household chores alone. He's the type who wouldn't lift a finger if a bottle tipped over. Now reborn, how could this pampered man remember mundane tasks like burning coal or refilling lamps after decades of being waited on? Michael doubled over laughing. And get this, he still found time to ask about Lily in town, wanting to send her messages. My grip tightened on my textbook cover. Starving and freezing, yet still lusting after women. In our previous life, I'd worried about his college entrance exams, delivering coal, cleaning, and cooking for him, all while he secretly pined for Lily, enjoying my care. That two-timing, freeloading bastard. Michael looked confused. Huh? I snapped. Never mind. As exam dates approached, remembering how I wasted my life on that bastard fueled my studies. Mornings for politics/literature, afternoons for history/geography, nights for brutal math drills. When my father woke at night, he'd find me muttering like a witch under the oil lamp. He told my mother, "Emily's gone mad with studying." Mom didn't comment, but next day brought the barefoot doctor's apprentice. The apprentice arrived carrying a case filled with silver needles. Beads of sweat formed on my forehead. Does this hurt? The surprisingly handsome apprentice smiled. Want to try? Trying led to actual treatment. After needling my hand, wrist pain gradually eased. I tentatively practiced writing, slow but legible. As the apprentice packed up, I suddenly asked, "What should I call you? Doctor?" He turned with uncharacteristic poise for a country resident, his upright posture radiating refined charm. Blushing inexplicably, maybe rebirth made me teenage sensitive again. I waited. Ethan. As in the Davis family known for handsome men. Dr. Ethan smiled, glancing at my messy study materials. No wonder you're taking exams, you've actually read books. Cheeky brat. Dr. Ethan treated me 3 more times. My handwriting straightened steadily. For exams, I'd keep answers concise to minimize writing. Inspired, Michael started serious studying too. My teacher says education matters now. Even my younger siblings quit mischief, picking up books when available. The pencil scratched across yellowed newspaper as Emily practiced sketching. Outside, winters bite gnawed at the world. But our drafty house nurtured different seeds of ambition in us children. My parents returned from work, exchanged silent glances, then retreated to the outer room. 3 days remained until the college entrance exams. Lily's message came from the county town to the farm. The messenger finally confessed under John's relentless badgering, "You'll find out anyway." Lily's brother set her up with some bureaucrat in town. Government job. Instant urban residency when they marry. John looked thunderstruck. What about me? I bought her that wool coat, that Swiss watch. The courier shifted uncomfortably. Half the village boys chased after Lily before her parents chased them off. You two barely dated 2 months. No engagement papers. No witnesses. Since when does that count? John demanded to see the truth himself. Fellow educated youths urged him to focus on the life-changing exams ahead. But the distraught man stumbled to our doorstep again. This time intercepted by my father. "What now?" Dad barked. "Pa," John blurted. My father's mustache quivered with outrage. "Uncle," John corrected hastily. "I just want to apologize to Emily properly." "We're done with your apologies." Dad moved to shut the door. Their absurd dance around the courtyard began, John circling like a lovesick puppy. Neighbors peering through frost-rimmed windows. When Mrs. O'Leary asked about the commotion, John seized his chance to barge into our parlor. Ethan still held Emily's wrist after removing acupuncture needles. "What's this?" John demanded. ignoring mom and siblings in the corner like some cuckolded husband. Michael kicked John from behind. "The hell you think you're doing?" Dad dragged the sprawled intruder out by his collar. Brothers tumbling after them like angry cubs. George made half-hearted peacekeeping noises. "Easy now. Isn't he the Thompsons' future son-in-law?" "Son-in-law my ass." Dad's timid nature finally snapped. "You see this city punk breaking into my home? Think we're easy targets?" From my windowsill, I watched John scramble down the icy path. Ethan frowned. "What was that about?" "Simple. Lily's golden ticket vanished. Now he's sniffing around this reborn wife from his past life. Disgusting opportunist." On exam morning, I stayed with county relatives to avoid drama. John's group rode in on lumbering work trucks. The school swarmed with tense students clutching pencil cases. When gates opened, we flowed into assigned classrooms like soldiers to battle. 2 days of testing. Lunch breaks heavy with whispered answers and regret. I tried my best to avoid running into John. But after finishing my last exam, our paths crossed unexpectedly at the bus stop when I saw him across the street. His brows were furrowed, ignoring the city-educated youth talking beside him. As the truck finally started moving, John jumped off and shouted to those on board, "I have to find Lily." Even during life's critical moments, he couldn't let go of Lily. Just then, the bus engine roared to life. The driver yelled at the packed passengers, "Everyone find seats. We're moving." Hearing the commotion, John glanced toward the bus and spotted me pressed against the fogged window. Realization dawned that I'd witnessed his entire performance. His face twisted with chagrin, typical hypocrite. Wanting to keep his first love while hedging bets with old comforts. As the bus pulled away, I stopped watching John. Back in the village, Michael anxiously asked about my exams. Filled every answer sheet. The grading's up to the teachers now. Truth was, with this year's rushed college entrance exams, even simple math problems might get subjective scoring. My father chain-smoked nervously, our house becoming hazy as mountain mist until Mom summoned Ethan again. "My wrist healed weeks ago," I protested. Mom clicked her tongue. "With your future uncertain, I'm securing backups. Ethan's family's poor, but his looks more than compensate for yours." Had I known her matchmaking skills in my past life, I'd have saved decades of struggle. This era offered unmarried girls 2 paths, work then marry, or marry then work. No third option existed. Since I couldn't guarantee college admission, Mom pressed on. "The Davis family lives nearby. Their background's problematic. But Ethan's decent. If Lily returns and Mayor George causes trouble, marriage might protect us." I agreed but asked Ethan directly, "You'd truly want this?" "I'm plain. Sharp-tongued. Built like a lumberjack." I listed every criticism I'd ever heard. His smile outshone spring blossoms. "I'm too handsome for my own good, temptation magnet. My family's the mushroom growing in pig slop kind. Would you mind?" My throat tightened. "Never. You're wonderful because you're you." Crimson flooded Ethan's cheeks. Last life, I'd built prosperity from nothing with John in southern cities. Now armed with decades of experience and a husband twice as handsome? However we managed, it'd beat suffocating with John. These days, getting married proved refreshingly simple. Emily and Ethan submitted our marriage application, picked up red fabric in the county town for wedding preparations, and exchanged ration coupons for candies and pastries. Most arrangements were settled. "The approval should come after New Year's," I said. "Then I'll move into your place and we'll start our life properly." Ethan hesitated. "You truly don't mind my politically problematic family background?" I grinned conspiratorially. "I only know opportunities like this don't come twice." Our laughter mingled as crowds suddenly gathered down the street. My height advantage served me well, peering over multiple rows of spectators. I spotted Lily in her new padded jacket and freshly permed hair. A grimy beggar clung to her leg, wailing piteously. It took moments to recognize John beneath the filth. "Lily, you can't leave me," he sobbed, his accountant's hands now blackened claws. "Rot wherever you please." Lily spat. screaming for help. Onlookers began kicking John until he released his grip, leaving him howling in the dirt, tugging Ethan away from the dispersing crowd. I explained. That's the educated youth who fractured my wrist. The woman cursing him? That's Lily herself. The absurd theater of reality unfolded before us. John had clearly been lurking in town since college entrance exams ended. Desperate to confront Lily. To maintain appearances. I had Ethan send word to their farm collective about John's whereabouts. Let his comrades retrieve him from the gutters. Freezing to death would be too merciful. I wanted John alive. Alive and humiliated beyond measure. Our marriage certificate arrived miraculously before Lunar New Year. The entire Thompson family now knew I'd wed Ethan, an uncredentialed country doctor from politically tainted stock. Trekking mountain paths to treat peasants. Lily married into bureaucracy, securing both civil service status and subsidized housing for her husband. Mrs. Thompson relished every chance to sneer. Emily thought she could rival my Lily? Look who she settled for. Some villagers defended Ethan. Dr. Davis has skilled hands and a kind heart. But landowner descendants stay poor forever. Others countered. The Johnsons didn't even negotiate proper bride price, just dumped their daughter. Ethan's shoulders slumped at the gossip. I squeezed his hand, whispering promises of coastal futures where ocean breezes carried plum blossoms. He nibbled my daydreams like mooncakes. Live by the sea with spring blooms? Emily. I trust you. Our newlywed days overflowed with honeyed intimacy I'd never known in my previous life. During the traditional 3-day post-wedding home visit ritual, Lily arrived in her husband's government-issued truck. Cargo bed overflowing with metropolitan luxuries for Lunar New Year gifting. Villagers passing by were handed candies and pastries. George even set off firecrackers, filling half the village with festive cheer. Our home felt much quieter in comparison. Ethan and I had only brought back a few small bags of sweets. The whole family gathered around the Kong stove eating and drinking. When firecrackers exploded outside, the younger kids fidgeted excitedly but stopped under Michael's warning glare. Neighborhood children came taunting our siblings anyway. Why aren't you coming out? George is handing out candy. It's super sweet. My father shooed them away while my mother distributed our meager treats. Ethan's ears stayed bright red throughout the evening. On our walk back, Ethan murmured, "I'm sorry. What's there to apologize for?" Half the village grooms could say the same. When he remained silent, I held up both hands. For working hands between us can build a home. We'll get out of this valley. Snow swirled around us as we reached the village exit. There stood Lily and her gaunt, plain-looking husband boarding their truck. Lily spotted us first, me in my old clothes without fancy transportation. Though Ethan's movie star looks made her tilt her chin higher. Her husband frowned at her sudden tension. "Know them?" he asked. Lily declared loudly. "I don't associate with strays." A strange cry interrupted them. We turned to see John, unkempt with overgrown hair and beard. Lily paled, scrambling into the truck. "Drive. This place reeks of bad luck." Her husband shot her a puzzled look before honking past John, who stood dejectedly by the roadside, looking utterly lost. Pathetic mutt. I tugged Ethan away, though he kept glancing back. That educated youth and Lily were supposed to marry. What happened? His first love went to the city while his ex found new prey. What else could John do but watch? Who cares? He's nobody's problem now. After New Year's, red college entrance exam lists appeared at the County Education Bureau. Emily gazed out at the blizzard howling beyond the windowpane. "Should we go check?" Ethan suggested. Though the county seat lay 20 kilometers away through this white hellscape. Even if my name appeared on that preliminary list, I argued, final confirmation remained uncertain. Let's wait. The decision vanished when Michael came sprinting through snowdrifts from my parents' home to our newlywed cottage. "Sis, you passed the screening. The county wants you for medical exams immediately." Word had spread through educated youth groups checking results in person. My name indeed glittered among the chosen. Farm trucks soon rumbled toward the hospital, packed with hopefuls like us. In the giddy chaos, I scarcely remembered to dread encountering John. The physical proceeded smoothly, my robust health earned crisp approval stamps. Yet whispers slithered through examination queues like winter snakes. Some newlywed girl got beaten in gynecology. A nurse muttered behind her mask. 2 months along after half a month married. Whose family? Shoo. The Thompson family's boy. Country girl didn't realize, when the doctor told them. She clung to her husband's arm like a child. All tears and pleas. The nurse's voice dropped. They say an educated youth from Pine Ridge Farm's responsible. My lungs seized. Couldn't be. I swallowed the icy knowledge whole. Never sharing it with Ethan during our bone-rattling return trip. Next dawn brought Michael panting at our door with fresh scandal. Lily got thrown out. Face swollen like rotten fruit. Her groom smashed the Thompson family's parlor. Called her a tramp. My brother's eyes shone with grim excitement. Her brothers stormed the farm. But John caught wind and fled. The revelation crashed over me that wretched son of a bitch John had rushed to claim his prize in this timeline. Yet Lily's audacity stunned more betting him than marrying up. Only this era's sexual ignorance let her waltz into that medical trap. Not a word. I clamped Michael's chapped lips. Tell our parents to stay home. If Lily learns, I might escape to college while she's disgraced. Michael snorted. What's left for her to wreck? She'll spin tales about John knowing the mayor. I countered. The connection being that staged photo op when John's college acceptance drew officials like flies to honey. Oh. Michael added casually. John failed the exams. The final piece clicked his absence during medical checks. No college meant no mayoral handshakes. Our fates had diverged completely. March's freak blizzard buried Hopia's weeks crawled without admission letters. Finally, I trudged through knee-deep snow toward Pine Ridge Farm's offices, determination crystallizing like ice on my lashes. The educated youth were kind-hearted folks. When they heard I'd passed the preliminary exams through self-study, some showed looks of surprise and regret. Out of their group of 17 or 18 examinees, only 2 had cleared the initial screening. Not everyone possesses the sharp insight to seize opportunities before they arise. Not being reborn or particularly confident, I hadn't dared take the exams initially. Eventually, I joined the 2 successful candidates on the arduous journey to the commune office to collect our acceptance letters. The clerk proved helpful, chuckling when he saw my name. Emily? You've got friends in high places. Folks from your village kept checking if your letter had arrived. My heart skipped a beat. I immediately tucked the precious document inside my innermost clothing layer. Not daring to return home, I secretly sent for Ethan at the farm. The winter chill did nothing to prevent sweat beading on Ethan's forehead when he arrived. After you left, troublemakers started harassing the household. He reported. I went to my in-laws. Michael mentioned Lily already caused a scene at your place. I bit my lip hard. Those bastards. Ethan's face lit up like spring sunshine when he saw my acceptance letter. Emily, you finally made it out. As the village's first female college student. Well, wishers swarmed my parents' home. Only to discover I'd already married. When the crowd shifted to the Davis residence, my in-laws claimed I'd left early for university. Both families basked in reflected glory regardless. Lily tried causing trouble again. But after her miscarriage and subsequent hysterical outburst during a snowstorm, her health collapsed completely. Confined to bed. She'd been introduced to her current husband by her second brother, a match that backfired spectacularly due to her scandals, creating countless enemies for her sibling. Let the wretch die. George growled. His wife disagreed, tearfully summoning the country doctor. When Lily learned the doctor's head apprentice was my husband, she launched into wild fabrications, blaming me for her misdeeds before dissolving into manic laughter. The physician remained compassionate. My apprentice treated Emily's dislocated hand himself. Without your earlier interference, those 2 might never have married. Child, why torment yourself like this? Hiding beneath blankets. Lily wailed. Henceforth stripped of parental favor, she endured regular beatings and verbal abuse. The vicious gossip eroded her sanity. John, known throughout the commune as the meticulous accountant, had previously fallen afoul of rigid principles. Now facing college rejection and rumors about Lily's lost pregnancy being his doing. The slander became unbearable. The final blow came when I gained admission to Provincial Normal University. Haunted by regret, John began haunting my parents' neighborhood like a ghost until Michael and other brothers drove him off with stones. "You bastard. You're the one who dislocated my sister's arm. Almost cost us our college scholar. They're the ones cheating with Lily. That's why they helped her bully my sister. Cheating scumbags. Shameless." The Thompson family's reputation turned sour as the village kids kept hurling insults. Eventually, during one of John's trips back from our village to the farm, he accidentally fell and broke his leg. By the time someone found him half dead, the local medic couldn't help. They finally dragged him to the county hospital, where doctors said the delayed treatment would leave him permanently disabled. Coincidentally, someone uncovered John's embezzlement of ration coupons during his accounting days, all spent on Lily. I'd suspected this since first seeing him shower her with gifts. In our previous life, John had been a penniless sent-down youth doing volunteer accounting. Where else would he get extra resources this time? They spared him jail due to his disability but revoked his chances of returning to the city or taking college exams. John deserved to rot in this backwater village paying for his sins, exactly why I'd anonymously reported him. 3 years later, Ethan got into provincial medical school. We reunited in the city but returned to our hometown that summer after hearing the Thompsons' downfall. My mother waited at the village entrance, tearfully hugging me after 3 years. Passing the Thompsons' collapsed house, she hurried us along. Settled on our heated bed. Father explained, "After you left for college, the city started rectifying old cases. The Thompson sons got exposed, the second one seized someone's county home and forced a girl into marriage. Old Thompson had a stroke upon hearing this. Lily, already unstable, set their house on fire one night. The elderly Thompsons died months later in a makeshift shack. Michael cut in, serves them right. Remember how they bullied us?" My younger brother added, "Their infamy still haunts our village. Last year, Uncle Lou almost fought someone in town who called us the village of college grads and homewreckers. I stayed calm. In our past life, Lily had married well until her brother's scandals destroyed her marriage. The spoiled girl drank pesticide in her 20s. Despite our childhood friction, I'd wanted to save her from that tragic fate this time, hence pushing her toward John initially. But some patterns can't be rewritten. Lily still chose destruction, just through different flames. If it were a case of unrequited love, there was nothing I could have done. If they truly belonged together, then John finally got his wish, and Lily would fare better than her previous fate of arguments and suicide. My path would simply diverge from theirs from now on. Who could have predicted they'd spark such drama in this lifetime? John's scheming mind kept producing terrible ideas, while Lily's entitled behavior always demanded more. I almost admired their self-destructive spiral. After dinner, my husband Ethan and I took a stroll through the village. Michael had already grown taller than me. He mysteriously led us to a dilapidated shack. "Emily, this is where John and Lily live." John and Lily? They actually rekindled their twisted romance? The door creaked open. We quickly hid. A disheveled John emerged leaning on a cane, the crumbling house lacking even a proper fence. He set aside his crutch to laboriously pump the bellows for cooking fire. Soon, a wild-haired woman came giggling out. Closer inspection revealed a frayed rope dangling from her waist. John froze momentarily before shouting and giving chase. But how could a crippled man with a cane catch an energetic madwoman? "That's Lily?" I whispered incredulously. Michael nodded. After the Thompsons died, her relatives half-heartedly looked after her for a while. Her madness came and went. Then her brothers got imprisoned. No one cared anymore. Later, John convinced her relatives somehow to let him take her to this shack. John's obsession spanning 2 lifetimes had finally been fulfilled. During this visit, my in-laws had their landlord label removed. My mother-in-law tearfully placed the family heirloom jade bracelet on my wrist. I hesitated to wear it. After you went to college. She said. Everyone said you'd abandon Ethan. But you wrote him letters. Encouraged him to apply too. Having you as our daughter-in-law, it's like heaven smiled on us. Tracing the miraculously preserved bracelet. I vowed. Mom. Our best days are still ahead. The words visibly warmed her heart. When our vacation ended, Ethan and I boarded the bus back to the city. As we neared the village outskirts, Ethan nudged me to look at the high hillside. A man stood leaning on a cane, staring blankly at our departing vehicle. I saw him. Whether he saw me, I couldn't tell. He seemed to shout something, but the words got lost in the wind. Let's not come back, I said suddenly. We'll settle in the city properly. Move both our families there. Deal. Then, we'll set off towards our goal of where the ocean meets the sky, and spring blooms in the warmth. Emily, I believe in you.